Hello, my name is Robert Cibis. I'm extremely proud and happy to be here with Dr. Predrag Slijepcevic, a bioscientist, uncovering, putting science together, which is really unheard of, at least to me, and I think to most people, because the sophistication of living organisms is beyond imagination, and we always have this point of view of how complicated our lives are, and in fact even the life of termites might be complicated. So in a way it gives ease to me, because okay, all life is complex. You know, this is what I learned from this, what you explained to others in the presentation earlier today. So how, as a bioscientist, you were interested in biocivilization?
Right. I think all bioscientists know that the life started roughly 4 billion years ago. And we humans, we are only about 200, maybe 300,000 year old as a species. So this period of about 4 billion years, life existed without us. And some examples of life that existed before humans are so sophisticated that actually our civilization cannot match them. What I find in my own research is that all types of civilizational skills, languages, engineering, science, art, medicine, agriculture, these all exist in the natural world and actually precede our own civilization, but by millions or even billions of world. So the natural world is, I mean, the right single word that describes natural world is complexity. So it's extremely complex. Even if we think that our civilization is the most complex one, there are more complex things out there than us.
Oh, really? I mean, okay, that they are complex, I somehow can grasp it because I don't understand it. However, how can it be more complex, this human society? I mean, you don't, I know why you're saying this.
Yeah.
The real reason you're saying it is that you don't know the German tax system.
Say that again.
Sorry, it's a
German
joke.
tech. Oh, yeah.
Because, you know, things that seem so complicated and absurd in our civilization that I think no natural word could have this, you know, outside our lives. Yeah. But so why do you say this?
Well, I mean, if you look at the bigger picture, you know, life is a complex thing that involves all sorts of organisms, bacteria, viruses, plants, animals, but there is a unity, something that unifies life, and that's known as the Gaia theory. That's the entire biosphere, and the authors of the Gaia theory are James Lovelock and Lynn Margulis, both unfortunately deceased. You know, they developed this theory in the 1970s. When the theory was first mentioned and published, actually scientists attacked it as unscientific. And Margulis and Lovelock had trouble convincing everyone that they're right, and actually they are right. So life as we know it, you know, exists as a planetary scale phenomenon, encompassing everything. This Gaia hypothesis means that actually the natural world has its own mind, which is completely decentralized, and we as part of that, you know, humans, plants, animals, bacteria, we basically part of the system. We can't control the system. It's the other way around. The system controls us. If we think that we can do that, I think we're probably wrong. But we have to convince ourselves that there is a, you know, different way forward than, this concept of Anthropocene, which was invented about 20 years ago. Anthropocene essentially means that the humans are almost the owners and controllers of nature. That cannot be true, because, you know, we are very inexperienced evolutionarily. There are organisms like bacteria that are billions of years older than us. Plants are older than us, animals, etc.
I mean, the arguments for this understanding that the human is the center of the planet Earth and the living organisms is in a way understandable if you're a human yourself, because then you see, look, if you count the big animals on the planet, most of them are living to be killed by humans. You know, the free animal world is getting smaller and smaller, and this gives this feeling of domination. Just to give one example, another example would be, how we, have streets and infrastructure everywhere, and this, of course, pushes away boundaries of other living organisms, and animals need to adapt to our urban cities and so on and so forth. So you have this feeling of expanding humanity and decreasing rest of the nature. And I think, however, you have good reasons to contradict this perspective. Please tell them.
Well, I think to some extent that's true. Scientific research shows that the last 100 years, really, there was a decimation of animal species. The term that scientists use is biological annihilation, meaning, wiping out thousands of different species. They simply die because of our technologies. But I think you have to look at the things from a different perspective. If you look at the entire biosphere, animals, the animal kingdom, is a very small percentage of the biosphere, maybe 2%.
Oh, really?
What makes the biosphere are plants, about 70%, and bacteria, I think, about 25%. So plants and bacteria are the most dominant species in the biosphere. Animals, a very tiny percentage, including us, and the biosphere is, we have this impression that the nature is beautiful, lovely, that it's a stable system. But actually, if we look at the evolutionary past, nature was violent. In 3-4 billion years ago, when only bacteria existed on the planet Earth, they were killing each other because, bacteria actually eventually, those who survive, produce the oxygen and produce the atmosphere and they sort of got into symbiosis with plants to produce oxygen for animals. So, the biosphere always passes through periods of stability followed by instability. We know so-called mass extinctions. Only the last 600 years we had about 5 or 6 mass extinctions, and the last one is the current one, living one. So it's caused by the humans. So
which one?
It's called the 6th mass extinction.
Who is extincted?
Extinction of animals, plants that occurs in the last.
And it's not continuous. You're saying there are like waves.
Well, it's periodic. It's not continuous. So the most recent mass extinction of species is caused by us humans.
Okay. That is quite recent, only the last...
It's very recent. It's the Industrial Revolution. So the last maybe... if you want to be precise and investigate exact science behind it, people say is about the last 100, 150 years when you see clearly on the models